Social media marketing with its power has become an objective and irreversible trend in the world and in Vietnam. Many as 82% of Vietnamese people using the internet have already engaged in the social networks. Vietnam ranks second among the fastest growing markets for smartphones in the Southeast Asia nations region. The social networks have never been as popular as it is nowadays, becoming a potential market for those who work on communication and marketing. Hello everyone, and you're watching Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 NETVIET. On today's program, we are going to have the talk concerning marketing in Vietnam and online marketing in particular. Please join me in welcoming the guest of today's talk show, Jason Lusk.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
First of all, may you have some comments on the development of online marketing in Vietnam and also the social media marketing?
Online marketing is developing very quickly in Vietnam. You have almost 40 million people in Vietnam who are now online on the internet. 2/3 of those are engaged in social media. And according to the most recent statistics I've seen, the average internet user in Vietnam is spending more minutes online than they're spending watching television. Now that's a revolution in communications. That's like the development of newspapers in the 17th century or radio and television in the 20th century. As marketers, we always want to go to the media that people are spending their time consuming. People are on the internet now, so of course Vietnamese marketers have a very natural interest in learning how to market in this really exciting new medium.
Through the statistic that you have just shared with us, it can be said that among three of the online marketing, including social media, mobile ad, and ad network nowadays, social media, it's like an uptrend, and it's the most prominent channel for the enterprises. What do you think about that, and why?
I think one of the reasons that social media has developed more quickly in Vietnam than mobile and display advertising is the relatively slow start that e-commerce has gotten in Vietnam compared to many of the other countries in Asia and even Southeast Asia. There are a lot of people in Vietnam that are using social media. It's fair to say that Vietnam is a country of social media fans, and so naturally marketers are going to be drawn there, and they're going to be looking at ways to take advantage of this interest in social media. I think that the other exciting thing about social media is all the different things that it can do. I mean, social media is really a very broad set of marketing tools. And through these tools, you're really able to take consumers on a journey from that moment when they first become aware of a brand and a product, through the process of educating them about that brand or product, activating them to buy that product. And then the most exciting thing of all about social media is that you can provide that consumer who's now purchased the product and is happy with that product, you can provide them with the tools to advocate for that product, to tell their friends about what a wonderful experience that they had.
That is some of the advantages that social media marketing will bring to the enterprises. What are the other ones?
It's interesting. It's a double-edged sword, as we say. So one of the advantages of social media is that as you take somebody through this consumer journey from awareness through to purchase, there are ways to measure the conversion of somebody from first awareness through to initial interest through to purchase. There are tools for doing that. The tools aren't very refined. They're imprecise. It's much easier to measure that in social media than it is with a TVC.
Nguyễn Thị Thùy Trang, who has just graduated from the Hanoi University of Business and Technology, had just started doing business with a small shop selling clothes. She finds Facebook and other social networks an effective way to market the product. Thùy Trang often takes photos of the products, then uploads them on social networks such as Facebook. She also can get orders and feedbacks from the customers on those social network pages.
Với một sinh viên mới ra trường thì cái số vốn em không có nhiều. Kinh doanh trên mạng xã hội em sẽ chỉ mất thời gian để PR cho bạn bè của em thôi, không mất nhiều chi phí.
Nowadays, social media marketing has become an irresistible trend for not only young graduates like Thùy Trang, but also many other Vietnamese enterprises.
Năm 2012, theo như số liệu của Vialink, thì chỉ có khoảng 1% các doanh nghiệp Việt Nam, tức là nó khoảng tầm 5.000 doanh nghiệp thôi, là đã bắt đầu coi như là có các cái bước triển khai làm marketing trên mạng xã hội. Nhưng mà đến năm 2013, số liệu điều tra lại thì cho thấy có đến 50.000 doanh nghiệp, tức là tăng gấp 1.000 lần. Như vậy là cái tốc độ tăng trưởng từ năm 2012 đến năm 2013 là có sự đột phá trong cái việc mà nhận thức của các doanh nghiệp Việt Nam khi làm marketing trên mạng xã hội.
That can be one of the reason for big companies or enterprises in Vietnam to be reluctant, as you said, in promoting their products and services through social media. Why other small enterprises usually use Facebook as a social media marketing, and they do it really effectively?
I think what's appealing about social media for marketers, and this is not just in Vietnam, this is all over the world, is that it's relatively low cost. So getting social check-ins at a cafe is free. Convincing people to share content about your brand or your product on social media is free. Providing customer service through social media is free. Obviously, that's going to be very appealing to small and medium-sized enterprises. Unfortunately, it's not as free as it used to be. As you correctly pointed out, Facebook is the most common social media marketing platform in Vietnam, around the world, but especially in Vietnam. And Facebook is a publicly traded company now that's responsible to its shareholders for making a profit. The good news, that Facebook advertising is still much cheaper, and it's much more precisely targeted than a TVC.
Generally, what are your comments on the way that Vietnamese enterprises are using tools like Facebook to market their products and services?
That's a big question. And a lot of enterprises are using it in a variety of different ways. I think for a small business, the use of social media is very tactical. You might do a check-in campaign or some small contest. And I think that Vietnamese businesses that are savvy and are open-minded have had success using those tools. Those tools are well documented. They're used all over the world. Where I've been a little bit disappointed in Vietnam is in the use of social media by bigger enterprises. You see this stratification. Vietnamese marketers are doing some great social media work on behalf of big international brands, but Vietnamese enterprises are not having the same success. To give you a couple of examples of campaigns that I think have been excellent, and this is, I have to take a moment to send my condolences to the family of Tuan Chinoda, the great vlogger here in Vietnam who recently passed away. He did a fantastic campaign called Zan Selfie for Samsung Galaxy. Viral video campaign, extremely effective. Another great campaign that we've seen here in Vietnam is the Close-Up Love Confessions campaign. What both of those campaigns did is they were very successful in tapping into youth culture, popular culture. But again, that was Samsung and Close-Up. These are global brands that just happen to be marketing here in Vietnam. I haven't seen the same sort of success from Vietnamese enterprises.
So what would be your advice for Vietnamese enterprises if they want to be effective in terms of using social media as a marketing channel?
I need to give a very basic piece of advice, which is recognize the differences between social media as a marketing medium and all of the media that came before it. Social media is very different. Social media is a form of pull marketing, not push marketing. With advertising, you have a captive audience. That consumer is watching television and there's a commercial break and you have that person captive there watching the television screen. So it's perfectly okay to say, this is my brand, this is my product, buy now. That type of marketing doesn't work in social media. Social media it only works if you're able to bury your marketing messages inside of content and games and contests that ordinary people want to consume. The other thing that I would advise Vietnamese companies to look at is how can you really embrace not just social media, but integrated marketing communications. That's a buzzword. Let me define that quickly. Integrated marketing communications is creating campaigns where social media and other marketing tactics like advertising and PR work together seamlessly as part of a campaign. Social media is just a tool. Social media is not a strategy. And social media as a tool always works better in combination with other marketing tactics. My other piece of advice is oftentimes the planning process for a campaign in Vietnam is very short. It's part of the marketing culture here. An agency will pitch an idea, the brand manager will like that idea, a contract is signed, and then you might have one round of refinement to that idea before the idea is executed as a campaign. I've worked with companies in America where they have a full year planning process. They begin planning next year's campaign while this year's campaign is still in production, before it's even run. And there's a good reason for that. It allows more stakeholders to participate, and it increases the odds of somebody having that moment where they're standing in the shower, as we all do, having their best thinking of the day, and they say, aha, I have the perfect social media idea to go along with this advertising campaign. My advice to Vietnamese marketers is it may not be realistic to do a full year planning process, and it would certainly be a huge culture change. But try and lengthen the process and try to involve more stakeholders to enrich the idea with more perspectives.
Actually, social media marketing is quite a new idea in the world and even in Vietnam. So how can the marketer, as you have just said, and the business, if they really want to get knowledge on the whole system and have a really systematic knowledge on this field, what can they do?
Well, it's tricky because most of the world's knowledge about social media is in English. It's actually a problem that I've tried to solve with a website that I've created called lowdigital.vn. That website has a very simple purpose. We're taking the best, in my opinion, of the new scholarship on social media marketing, and we're taking those articles and translating them into Vietnamese. So it's a good resource for somebody who wants to get a start in understanding what global best practices are in social media marketing.
Do you think that social media marketing will develop more in Vietnam in the future?
I think that social media is here to stay. Facebook may go, Twitter may go, Instagram may go, but social media as a form of communication, many to many, they say, where the individual consumer is a broadcaster, is a publisher, is able to engage brands in dialogue. That will never go away. So there will always be a need for social media expertise. What may change is, over time, what may ebb and flow is the percentage of the marketing budget that gets devoted to social media versus other media. But I think that developing expertise in social media is an investment in time that's advisable to most marketers in Vietnam today.
So once again, thank you so much for being with us today one more time, and we hope that next time we will have another great topic to discuss with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
That's all we have for today's program. Thank you so much one more time for watching Sharing Vietnam at 8:30 p.m. on VTC 10 NETVIET. If you have any question or recommendation, please send us an email to sharingvietnam@vtc.vn. Leave you for today and see you next time.